I did not get very good sleep. Honestly, it's been non-existent, kind of. But I still thought that this is actually very on theme with today's topic, and that is don't let your pain go to waste. Whatever life has been training you for, whatever you've been through, use it like you're in the battlefield. Everything is a skill, everything is something you pick up. And when I started to see things like that, I made a promise to myself. Yes, a promise to myself that I am not going to let my suffering go to waste. Um, and even if you're not religious, because I am, and I still believe that our suffering counts as a test of endurance and we'll be able to come through to the other side, God willing. But my main intent of this video is to speak to everyone, not just my religious audience. That's what I try to do with all of my videos. Unless it's religion specific, which I might do in the future. But like I said, I'm going to try to do something that everyone can watch. So even if you aren't religious, you can still watch those videos. So why on earth do we have to see things in this perspective? The thing is, if we always see pain as something that we get used to, we have to understand that it becomes a part of our normal. So why don't we understand or try to interpret how we can use that to our advantage? Because when we associate pain with being something normal, typically what we as humans try to do is associate it with something personal, like, oh, this is what I deserve, this is how my life is, and it becomes a constant loop of panic, doubt, and basically a lot of anxiety, depression, all of that stuff. So, everything you've been through in life should remind you of what you've overcome. So, if you have scars, you should remind yourself that you're alive from them. Physical, metaphorical, it doesn't matter. You have scars, everyone has them. And if there's something you think about on the daily, then that is something that assists you. Like sometimes there are things I think about and they bother me a lot where I can't sleep, but I still remind myself I'm alive. And if I'm going through this much pain, then it is something that I want to use to my advantage. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to succumb to the pain. Like when you have an injury, you don't want to succumb to it. You want to heal, you want to get better. Because obviously, if you succumb to it, that's it. And a lot of us don't actually want that, even if we feel like we do. I just realized something. I think her shoes are a bit average. Yeah, I think they were the default ones. Um, so yeah, guys, you have to understand that. I'm sorry. You have to understand that life is going to be harsh with you. Life is going to teach you that you are going to go through these moments. But should you always give in to that? Of course not. If there is something you really want to achieve in life, you have to understand that you need to fight for it. So, whatever life throws at your way, it's preparation. It's preparation for what you can achieve. It's like when you play a game as well. And I mention this because I'm a gamer. Sometimes you play levels which are easy, and then you realize, oh, there are levels that are so hard. And sometimes it takes time to learn how to play those super hard levels. But what you realize is when you learn how to do the super hard levels, you can play other levels a lot easier, including even harder ones because you learn skills. So it essentially trains you and helps you. It's like a character in a story. They go through so much. They have the beginning and then they go through the main part of the story or the body or whatever, and then that's it. They don't have their happy ending until much much later. And I think a lot of people are so quick to want the happy ending, and I don't blame you guys, but you can't really taper your story if you're still living it. And we just want to be having closure. That's what a lot of us want. We want to be safe, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be safe. It's a very human response. However, it does not help us escape our comfort zone. If anything, it keeps us grounded. And I was gonna say in some bubble, but very funny, Suzu. You're in a bubble right now. So yeah, like I'm exhausted. I could be sleeping, but I just decided that this topic feels like it resonates so hard with me. So yeah, I immediately went and made this video. The truth is, it's not easy to acknowledge that these scars can help us because it depends on how you reframe the pain. If you go through something and you're like, oh, life sucks, you're not learning. But if you go through something and you say, okay, life can suck, however, I also learned I can do this, I'm strong, I've handled this, you are learning. And if you're not learning from something, I'm not saying that pain is pointless, it never is. However, you yourself are deficient here. And it doesn't always have to be something where you're like, oh, you have to associate it with something directly positive. You could just say something like, this sucks, but it's not the worst. That's better than just saying, oh, life sucks, but it's okay, I'll have a good day. That doesn't work for everyone. It sure as hell does not work for me. So whenever, sorry, I did not know that was water. I literally thought that was like a pot or like, solid water. I thought it was like that because there are some in this game. But yeah, I guess that's what people need to acknowledge. People are so focused on immediate gratification, and people are so quick on revenge. People are so focused on that. Trust me, no matter what hurts you, humans or whatever, people will get what they deserve. And I'm not just saying this, I've always seen this. People always get what they deserve, irrespective of how much power they have, fame, influence, followers, money, all of that stuff. People always get what they deserve. But people don't understand that when you get um karma, I mean, I call it kafara because in Islam we call it that. um when you get that, it doesn't always have to be in the way you expect. So if someone hurts you and you're trying to recover from that, for example, then you have to understand, just because if someone hurt you physically, they could suffer mentally. That could be their price. If someone hurt you mentally, they could suffer physically. But it's not up to you to decide. And even if you're not religious, I still don't chase after revenge. It's stupid, waste of time, and why the hell do you want to be like the other person? Don't think like the enemy, guys. But yeah, I don't want to go too off topic with this, but pain is quite an immersive topic. It is. Like, it really makes you think, okay, this is what I've been through, and it's very natural for you to want to go in detail about it. But out of respect for my audience and basically myself, because I don't want to be a huge freaking trigger, I'm just gonna say that we are not here to suffer. Like, I do believe life is a test, but I don't believe that we have unnecessary suffering. Like, I refuse to believe that. Because if we've been programmed to believe that, okay, kindness is important, all of these things, because we should be, and then we realize that it doesn't help us, or let's say it doesn't get reciprocated, then that doesn't mean kindness itself is bad. That means people's response to it is bad. And when you can reframe things like that, it makes you understand that being a good person, because it really breaks my heart to see videos like this. I see where people are coming from, but I'm still gonna say this anyway. A lot of videos on YouTube nowadays say why I stopped being a nice girl, why I stopped being kind. Being kind is ruining your life. Like stuff like that. I was just thinking, it's not being kind that ruins your life. It's being with the wrong people. So you should be kind essentially to everyone. And by kind, that doesn't mean goody two shoe, being like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be chummy with this person. No. It just means being civil. Like, you could be respectful to have a conversation, or even if you don't have a conversation, you just respect them as a human being, basic stuff. But people always focus on the woo to me, that stuff, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like victim behavior. I don't really like calling someone an enemy or directly associating myself as a victim. I just think that that is just gonna always give me some stupid label, and I don't want that. Because if you're always gonna call yourself a victim, then well done. You're just giving yourself more scars because you're just gonna add to the woo to me story. You should be expanding your character. You shouldn't be thinking of yourself as someone so low that where you're only getting hurt by others. And if you think of someone as an enemy, then you're not really broadening your horizons. You're being biased, and that's not being authentic to yourself, nor are you giving justice to yourself or anyone else. So yeah, that's why when it comes to pain, I just don't want it to define me. And if it's given me this much, where one time pain actually caused me to pass out, guys, and I was like, whoa, I've never been that stressed, literally. Um, I refuse to believe that I'm not going to get anything good from it. And it doesn't have to be about a hereafter thing, it can just be in this life. I refuse to believe it's pointless. I refuse to believe it was for nothing. And if someone tells me, okay, your pain is, just for the sake of it, shut it. I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to create a life I deserve for myself. I'm going to create a life with pain as my fuel. I'm not going to be someone who's going to complain about, oh, life hurt me, oh, this hurt me. Like, I'm going to move with the pain. Like, if I scrape my knee, I'm not going to just sob until someone comes and helps me up. The hell? I'm just going to understand that, yes, it hurts like hell, but you know what? I'm better than that. I'm someone who is going to basically get myself moving. Because why would I complain? Imagine you spend so much of your time waiting for someone to help you when you could just be helping yourself the entire time. That's usually what I do. Like if I play a game or a sport and I fall down mid game, whatever, which has happened before, in the past, I'm just like, okay, I scrape my knee and then I get back up. Literally. Some people just sit there and wait for their teammates to pick them up. I don't know why, but for me, it's just understanding that I'm wasting time if I just keep focusing on a scraped knee. Additionally, you understand life goes on. No matter what you go through, it goes on. Life is pretty cold and ruthless when it comes to that. Like, life does not wait for you to just be like, okay, I've moved on, I've healed. No. It basically kind of forces you to move on to the healing process. And to this extent, sometimes you might be feeling that's harsh or I don't even know what to do. But I'm going to be so real with you guys. I think this is one of life's greatest things because this forces us to get moving. And a lot of the times, we are always in a state of stagnancy. We're always thinking, okay, I just want to take my time. And it's completely normal. Your feelings are valid. You take your time, honestly. But sometimes we're too lenient with that time. So when life gets us to move forward, we start to realize, oh, whoa, I'm actually being humbled. I also noticed the quest is open for the Wanxiang realm, so that would be exciting. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna record it though. I'll see how I feel. Um, because yeah, I think a lot of you guys like my commentary based videos the most. So I'm trying to see what works. Heartopia, I'm alternating. I'm trying to see what works. To be honest, it does get a bit repetitive, but we'll see. Because I might do commentary on that as well. But yeah, guys, I hope this video helps anyone. Just make sure it's worth something, okay? And I also like to think about my younger self. It's gotta be worth something. Whatever she went through, it's gotta be worth something. And if I was to speak to her, I would like to tell her that your pain was not in vain. It's not something that was just ignored. It's not something that just existed for the sake of it. I used it as a way to elevate myself. That's how I see it. You don't romanticize pain. Please don't do that. That causes feelings like you deserve it, you enjoy it. None of you should be feeling that way. You should instead reframe it and understand what it's teaching you. And during the moment, pain sucks, obviously. Like, duh, goes without saying. But it's the lessons that it teaches you. And if you're not learning anything and if you're always complaining, then I'm sorry to say this, but you're not learning anything. You're just you're suffering for the sake of it. So that's what I wanted to say in today's video. But yeah, do yourself a favor, give yourself justice, and understand you deserve love and you can come through from this. Like, you genuinely can. You've probably done worse, and even if this is your worst, you're alive. That's already a huge step, even if it feels like something you've always been doing. So yeah, it's like my character is just trying to balance herself in her bubble. See, even she is trying to be strong. Okay, and look at Momo, he's just too cute. Okay, I think I need to sign it off now. Look, they're so adorable. No, I can't take a picture like this. Oh my gosh. Well, I have to wait for my bubble to pop. Sorry to burst your bubble. Very literally. Oh my god, please pop. Please pop. Why is this still not popping? Pop! Poppy, poppy, pop, pop. Pop! Pop! Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. And I hope you guys redefined pain. And I hope that the scars that you have are proof that you're still going, not proof that you suffered, you know, blah blah blah. So, peace. Oh yeah, see it like someone who's in a war or in a battle. Like, they don't just say, oh, I've got scars, I've suffered. If someone's emerged as victorious, then they would say, okay, these scars are proof I won. These scars are proof I'm alive, you know. Peace, and I'll see you in some other video. Bye.